Hey everybody, I hope you guys are healthy and safe. So you're watching footage shot of the main camera of the OnePlus 11. Handheld footage, and the audio you're hearing is coming directly from the internal mic of the phone. How do I sound? How do I sound? Okay, now you're watching ultra wide camera footage, OnePlus 11. Okay, so the video footage from the OnePlus 11 looked pretty impressive in low light conditions, right? I particularly liked that the colors were very accurate because the street I was walking on at the time did have a yellow tint. Obviously, when I switch to the ultra wide footage, then quality drops off a bit, but I actually think it's still respectable and a lot better than what most phones could pull off even a year or 2 years ago. And of course, if you switch to daytime videos, then the video quality gets even better. But there's more to a phone than just video recording. So how does the OnePlus 11 stack up against all the other phones on the market, particularly and more importantly, the ones that are coming out next? I think unfortunately OnePlus is in a tough spot, and this phone is almost destined to be underrated, meaning people are going to think it's not as good as it is. I think OnePlus 11 is destined to be underrated because this thing looks and feels like a tip-top premium level flagship. It's got a Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, a gorgeous 120Hz OLED display, LTPO 3.0. It's got a curvy unibody design. I know not everybody likes curved screens, but the reality is for Asian phone brands, and particularly to Asia consumers, we associate curved OLED panels with flagship. Mid-tier phones don't have curved screens for a reason. So that means from a distance, if you look at the OnePlus 11, you would think this is a device that's meant to compete against like the Xiaomi 13 Pro, the Vivo X90 Pro Plus, the Oppo Find X6 Pro, or the Galaxy S23 Ultra. But that would not be fair because OnePlus is actually not pricing this in that tip-top premium market. It's actually a tier below all those phones I just mentioned. And you can tell from the name of the phone, this is just the OnePlus 11. Not the OnePlus 11 Pro. So this phone starts in the US for $699 US. That's for 8GB RAM, 128GB of internal storage. If you double the RAM and storage, then the price jumps up $100 to $799 US. If you just look at the OnePlus 11 in a vacuum, this is a really good phone, highly polished, and I really can't find a shortcoming with it unless I compare to an existing phone that costs more money. For example, I think the OnePlus 11's main camera is really good. It's a 50 megapixel Sony IMX890 with a 1/1.56 inch image sensor and an f1.8 aperture. So it pulls in relatively a lot of light, colors are accurate, photos are really sharp. However, if I use this phone side by side with the Vivo X90 Pro Plus with that 1-inch sensor, the Vivo camera is still a little bit better because there's stronger bokeh, there's more depth to photos, a little bit better dynamic range too. And likewise with the telephoto lens, this is a telephoto / portrait lens that can do 2x optical zoom. Now 2x optical zoom, it's a little bit short in 2023, but it has a relatively large full zoom lens, 1/2.7 inch image sensor that allows photos to pull in more details and lighting than the previous zoom lenses seen in the OnePlus 10 Pro and the OnePlus 9 Pro. So this phone is definitely an upgrade over the OnePlus 10 Pro and OnePlus 9 Pro, but still going to fall short of the zoom lens in the Galaxy S23 Ultra or the Vivo X90 Pro Plus or probably the Oppo Find X6 Pro. The same can be said for this display. It is an absolutely beautiful looking panel, maximum brightness around 900 nits, so bright enough to use outdoors. And to be honest, for like 95% of people out in the real world right now, you can look at the screen and you wouldn't be able to pick a flaw. It just looks like a flawless display. However, if I compare this to the Vivo X90 Pro Plus screen, then I know that I fall short a little bit in maximum brightness and the viewing angles aren't as wide because this is a Samsung E4 panel, not the newest E6 panel used in the Vivo X90 Pro Plus. But to reiterate, those other phones I just mentioned are a little bit better. They do cost several $100s more. I also love the in-hand feel of this phone. It brings back the design language of the OnePlus 10 Pro, except the camera module is cleaned up a little bit with this circular island. It still blends seamlessly into the side aluminum rail, and the alert slider is also here. I know a lot of you guys care about that. The glass finish is a lot grippier than the OnePlus 10 Pro, which had a slightly slippery back. Unfortunately, the reason it's a little bit grippier, it's because it has that glossy texture, which does attract fingerprints a little bit. The keyword is only a little bit because OnePlus definitely applied some coating to it that helps it fight off fingerprints. You know, if I really run my finger through it repeatedly, I can see fingerprints, but definitely not as bad as like on the OnePlus 9 or a Samsung device back in 2019. Remember those things? They were completely like smudgy after just like 5 minutes of use. At 205 grams and measuring 8.5 millimeters in thickness, the OnePlus 11 can't be called a lightweight phone, but at the same time, I don't think this is bulky or heavy by 2023 standards. This thing feels very comfortable in my hand, probably because I'm used to using big flagship phones, but also because this phone doesn't have any sharp edges on it. Every corner, it's smooth and rounded. The edges of the screens blend seamlessly into the aluminum chassis. It kind of feels like the Oppo Find X5 Pro, which in my opinion had the best in-hand feel of any phone in 2022. And if you're wondering, this is Gorilla Glass 5 on the back and Gorilla Glass Victus on the front. So the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 in here, it's a little bit underclocked compared to the same chip I've tested in the Vivo X90 Pro Plus and the iQOO 11. But you know, considering that in the US or North America, you guys don't have access to these devices, that means I don't think you will even notice that the chip is underclocked. The only other phone that you can compare against this is the Pixel 7 Pro, and the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 here definitely beats the Pixel 7 Pro in terms of benchmark numbers. I also ran an extreme stress test on 3D Mark, which is a really tough, intensive test, and the OnePlus 11 handled it very well. It finished the test without issues, whereas remember last year the Xiaomi 12 couldn't finish it. It kept overheating. So the cooling system in here is really good. And I noticed that it actually reached a higher performance in the stress test than the Pixel 7, but at the same time, the Pixel 7 was a little bit more consistent towards the end. But the OnePlus 11 definitely has higher ceiling in terms of processing power than anything else on the market available in North America right now. And zipping around the UI, I did not encounter any stutter or lag. It helps that the Oxygen OS running on here, it's basically Color OS, and software animation, it's completely buttery smooth. The best animation in any smartphone. There's a 5000 mAh battery inside that can be charged at 80 watt speeds with the charger included in the box. However, you do lose wireless charging in the OnePlus 11. As for general performance, like I said, this one's very comfortable to hold. It has respectable stereo speakers. The display looks really good unless you really have the highest standards. Battery life is pretty good, but not like amazing. I can say that the Vivo X90 Pro Plus has better battery life than the OnePlus 11. They have the same size battery, but the Vivo X90 Pro Plus has a more efficient display panel. And also probably because the Vivo X90 Pro Plus is running on China software, which is a little bit more aggressive at killing background apps. Oxygen OS doesn't kill background apps. You can get all your notifications in a timely manner. But for my heavy use, I can say that the phone can last about 12 to 13 hours on a single charge. So ultimately, I think the OnePlus 11 is a really good and well-polished device. And I think at $699, it's a reasonably good price in the US. Now the Google Pixel 7, it's still $100 cheaper, but the OnePlus 11 has a better screen than the Google Pixel 7. It gets brighter and it has a higher refresh rate. And the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 is a more powerful chip than the Google Tensor G2 in the Google Pixel 7. But the Google Pixel 7 has a better main camera. So I think this year OnePlus did a good job of pricing the phone. It makes sense in the pecking order compared to other devices, more so than the OnePlus 9 or the OnePlus 10 Pro. So that's about it for this review of the OnePlus 11. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider subscribing to my channel or follow me on Instagram at Ben's Gadget Reviews. I have a lot of photo samples from all the devices I test on Instagram. And I'm going to see you soon because February is a really busy month. A bunch of phones are coming out and I'm going to get my hands on all of them. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching.